Hello everybody, and welcome back, where we sit down with bold recruitment business owners who have transformed their mindset, results, and business through the Rocket program. And today, I am joined by Sean of Nolan Recruitment, who went from burnout and losses to nearly doubling his best ever month in revenue. So, this conversation today is packed with lessons on resilience, leadership, and practical changes that actually drive results. So, Sean, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Thanks so much for being here today.
No problem at all. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. So, today we're going to be diving into the exact strategies that Sean took to grow and achieve the results that we're going to share with you today. So, before we start today's session, there is a button below this podcast, which will give you access to the free resource connected to today's podcast. So, if you want to access that, if you want to download that freebie, just click the button below. Okay, so Sean, welcome again. And I thought we'd start today's session by going back to where you were before you joined the program and to talk a little bit about what was happening in your business. And
Yeah,
would you also just give a quick overview of your business, just so everyone knows what it is that you do and who you serve?
yeah, no worries at all. So, yeah, I'm also the owner of Nolan Recruitment Solutions. So, we specialize within engineering and energy. We're 9.5 years old. And yeah, last year, before I joined the Rocket program, it would be around the summertime last year. I'll be honest. Yeah, completely burnt out at that point. I would have been 8.5 years into the business, overcome quite a few things, like
Mm.
many business owners, through COVID and so forth. And one thing I'd say I have an abundance will be resilience, which is quite ironic, really, because I seem to lose it at that moment. And yeah, it's completely burnt out. The business, wasn't performing. So all our main clients, our main spending clients over the years, they all had recruitment freezes on at the same time, which had never happened before. So sometimes you get one that do it, but you still have the others. And then, yeah, I think at that point the anxiety takes over because, being blatantly honest, you're providing for your family, you've got staff to look after, and then, kind of stress took over really. So I wasn't sleeping very well, and then you kind of spiral from there really. So I
Yeah,
probably wasn't
yeah.
making the best decisions and just yeah, burnt out and fell out of love with the business. I was catastrophizing instead of thinking the good things that could happen. I'm just, worrying because, you can't go on losing money at the end of the day because you're not gonna have a business. So yeah, I
Exactly.
wasn't in an ideal place. So I went on holiday in the August with the family, and I can't remember, I'd spoken to maybe Jane or someone from
Mm.
Centered Excellence, and I just decided, yeah, now's the time I need to do something different because I can't carry on like this.
Yeah,
And here we
yeah.
are.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that, because it sounds like an incredibly tough period, and I know that there'll be people listening that can, really resonate with that, and salute you for being so honest about it, because it is a position that a lot of people see themselves in, whether it's in recruitment or other businesses, and it does take a very big mental toll, I think, on any one of us. Even running a business does. And then when you're in those challenging times, it's very difficult, isn't it, when you're on your own, to actually see what's going on, but also, as you say, to pick yourself up no matter how resilient you are, and then know what tactics to take. So when you first joined the program, what what was the first thing that you noticed or that you saw in terms of a change for you?
The biggest change by far was the mindset, and I think a lot of that came from having a mentor, and Jane was my mentor. So having her, the monthly one-to-ones that I had with her, and then the support of the whole group, to jump on the calls whenever you want, that was a big help. But yeah, the mindset was a huge shift because I started seeing what's possible instead of, worrying
Mm.
about the next month and, not being able to, continue the business if it carried on the way that it was going. So, yeah, mindset definitely because things that came later, which I can go into, such as the gold job strategy. None of that's going to work without the right mindset because you can have great lead formula, you can have great jobs, great processes, but if you're not in the right mindset, you're not going to convert that business. You're not going to be able to deliver. So I'd say yeah, that was the biggest shift straight away, and I think as I mentioned before, a lot of that comes from the support that you get from the program. Because I'm a lone business owner, and it's not like you're going to talk to the staff if you're having a bad month or you've got cash flow issues or you're stressed, because you want them to think everything's rosy. So yeah, I'd say that was the biggest thing really.
Yeah. And absolutely, I think it's so true what you're saying, that mindset does influence the success of any strategy that you implement. People think that it's all about the strategies and that's where the importance is. But you're absolutely right. If you're not in the right frame of mind, if your mindset is not supporting you on that, it doesn't matter what you try and do, you're not necessarily going to get those results that you want.
Yeah.
What specific beliefs or habits were there that perhaps you needed to let go of to make space for that change?
Um, I think limiting beliefs, which is yeah, being blatantly honest, it's not something that talk about openly really, but yeah, on the program that's something that is talked about, and I'd say um, that anxiety and focusing on the wrong things,
Yeah.
focus on the positives that are going on, not the negatives. And I think previously in life I have been a positive person, but sometimes when you get into a really bad place and you are catastrophizing, you kind of forget that. So it was letting go of all that, and then um yeah, actually falling in love with the company and recruitment again.
Mm.
So yeah, I certainly had to let go of that. Yeah, the anxiety side of things, definitely.
Yeah. And that can really help, can't it? Having those kind of routines that help you stay in that right frame of mind. And, there is definitely energy, isn't there, around when you're with those like-minded people. They say, whoever you spend, the five people you spend the most time with is also has an impact and influences you, because you can
Yeah.
then move into their state of mind and their state of being. So having that community, yeah, makes.
Sorry to interject. Even basic things like, you mentioned routine before, so something I worked on with Jane was, and the psychologist as well, which was it Caroline? I forgot. Apologies, I've forgotten her name now. That from the Centered Excellence program was, just a basic thing like in the morning. What I'd be doing is I'd be getting up. There's three kids under five, so you're running around like a maniac, and then you sat at your desk and it's all go. So I didn't feel like I even had headspace or, time to think. So we worked on a routine of actually, it sounds really basic, but take the dog for a walk in the morning, have half an hour for myself before I sit at my desk. So then instead of coming in and opening emails and then, you're away then, aren't you? It was
Yeah.
getting into that routine of actually just clearing my head. And I think that made a huge difference as well. So, and that's just a basic change, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Healthy routines definitely start your day.
Yeah.
So after the mindset piece came the strategy. What systems or processes made the difference for you?
Um, the biggest difference in terms of processes will be the gold jobs
Mm.
on the campaign. So that's scoring the jobs that we're getting from the clients basically, and doing it in a systematic way. Because when I had done some work with the program when I first started back in 2016, 2017, so I was aware of gold jobs, but then over time, I'll be honest, that just completely lapsed. And then you're going off gut feelings. You're speaking to a client and, oh yeah, we'll have a go at that, and you drop in those kind of standards. Whereas this really, made us highlight the opportunities, to say, well, hang on a minute, that is not a good lead, and turn that away instead of just having to go at everything. So our fill rate had gone from when we joined the program, we were about 37%. And after 3 months, we got that up to 93%. So I'd
Wow.
say,
Mhm.
yeah, that was proof there. And to be honest, at first it's a bit worrying because you are turning away roles. And I think in recruitment, you're kind of programmed to to want the number of leads coming in, to feel, right, great, yeah, we've got a lot of jobs to work on, when in fact, you know, it's not what you need. You need the actual, the quality jobs to work on. So we were actually probably working less, but on much higher quality roles, which then in turn, see, resulted in some great months, thankfully.
Yeah. Yes, congratulations. I mean, hats off to you. That is fantastic. And you're right, it's like a filter, isn't it? It's like a major filter shift from, taking anything to really choosing wisely. And I mean, I'm saying that a bit flippantly because it's not that you take anything, but what I mean is that you say yes to things that normally, or that maybe in your heart of hearts they're not quite right.
Yeah,
But at the time, you feel that pressure, don't you? That it's like, oh, why am I going to let that potential opportunity go? And so we take it on thinking that if we don't, we're going to lose out. But actually, we lose out in more ways than one
yeah,
because we're spending time on something that we're just not going to fill when we could be spending that time elsewhere and taking on the right types of jobs. So what does your new intake to placement process look like? What have you changed?
So we have a scoring system for every new role that we take on, basically, and yeah, we're a hell of a lot more picky in terms of the actual roles that we take on. We turn a lot away now. So we'll systematically score that, and we'll go through it with the team before we decide to actually work on it. And to be honest, I did become quite obsessed with the fill rate, which wasn't a bad thing because I was literally taking it on thinking, is this gonna affect our fill rate? So when I have my call with Jane, is she gonna be like, why is that dropped? And so I kind of became obsessed with it, which wasn't a bad thing, because we're really scrutinizing every role and client that we took on. Um, so yeah, that's a new system that we have in place now that's really working for us.
And how did because you mentioned about the team, how did the team take that change?
I think it's a tricky one with the team to begin with, in all honesty, because if you think I'm on the program and yeah, I'm speaking to you guys and I'm seeing the success that other people are having, but the team's not seeing that. So
Mm.
and those results aren't instant. So it's getting the team to come on the journey, and when you're taking roles off them, all of a sudden they're going
Mm.
to get more anxious because they're worried about making the commission, making the GP.
Mm.
So it's getting them to trust the process with you, and then in turn, obviously they saw the results themselves, and yeah, they were a hell of a lot happier working less roles and making much more money.
Great, great. And so you took them on that journey. Was there anything in particular that worked really well for you in the way that you approach that?
Um, I can't really pinpoint anything on that. I would just say trust in the process, because
Mm.
that's something that was drilled into me on the program, to trust the process in every area that we're working in. And I think I drilled that into the team to just, to trust it. Like I was trusting the program, and yeah, that I think ultimately is what gave us the results, really.
Yeah, and I think, you said that results ultimately, numbers talk, don't they? And so once you start the numbers will often be the things that start to shine the light or show the way that actually this is working. So let's talk about those wins that you got. Walk us through some of the changes that you saw.
Yeah, so I think I had a lot more confidence, when I was going into meetings as well, a lot more self-belief, that I'd kind of unearthed, well, not just me personally, but with Jane as well. So,
Mm.
we'd gone from, a best month of perm GP of like 53K to 95K. Um, in a different month, we won a retainer, which was 40K just in one retainer. So again, and yeah, that's not the only one really. There were other perm rolls that there were much higher GP that we were winning. And I think our average fee had gone from like 4.5 to 8,500. So
Wow.
yeah, there's quite a few areas that it had a huge impact on, really.
Yeah, it's phenomenal growth. What was your reaction when you saw that or experienced that?
It's just bloody relief, to be honest. Yeah, yeah, just being blatantly honest. It's,
Mm,
from going to a point where I just had enough last year,
mm.
um, to go through that journey and then to achieve those results. Yeah, it's just a massive weight off my mind, and you've got a happier team, happier business, and
Right.
actually excited for the future instead of dreading the next month. Uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Quite a paradigm shift, as you say, for
Definitely.
everybody involved, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the revenue is fantastic, right? There is no kidding that. What else have you, or what else do you pay close attention to now? What other metrics matter to you, perhaps more than others? I know you mentioned about conversions.
Yeah, obviously we look at conversions. I think maybe not so much a metric because it's sometimes difficult to manage, but time management.
Right.
Because again, something on the program that we discussed throughout is outsourcing. So I am a control freak, and I always have been. I'll be honest. So I hold on to a lot of things. So it was really analysing what I'm doing on a daily basis and trying to let go, which felt a bit strange to begin with, in all honesty, because it's things that I've always done.
Hmm.
But I just started to outsource as much as I possibly could. Within reason, obviously, you can't just go and start outsourcing everything, because it's
Yeah.
going to cost too much. But yeah, outsourcing as much as was viable, and yeah, that made a huge difference.
So
Um,
what, how did you know what to start with when you say outsource? What were the things that you decided would be the right things to outsource? Because as you say, there are certain things that maybe you do want to keep.
yeah, I think again, it's my fault really, being a control freak, but it was difficult to let go of things because I was worried about mistakes being made. So I just had to get past that and go, look, there are going to be mistakes. And it was just going through on the program, well, you know yourself, there's a very simple tool to literally just write down what you're doing on a daily basis. It's really simple. Um, there's no high level strategy to it. Go through each activity that you're doing on a daily basis and then really break it down to go, actually, can someone else do that? Yeah. And to be honest, there's a lot on the list that they can do. Um,
Mm,
and then just getting rid of those off your desk, and all of a sudden, you instead of being a busy fool, you've actually got time to think about things properly and plan. So yeah,
yeah, it's great because I think a lot of people, can quite easily get stuck in that busy mode.
yeah,
Um, and you're right, we can be in that busy mode and think that that's almost a sign of, okay, I'm going in the right
yeah,
direction. And actually, it's not, because it stops your growth, doesn't it? And so it goes, it's almost like the opposite of what we think, like it's like our saying less is more.
yeah,
But you got to say no to things to be able to create the space for growth almost, haven't you?
yeah. And it's having the confidence to say no, I think, as well, because we kind of touched on it before, but if you're in a place where you are struggling as a business and you're not getting many leads, then it's easy to go to default mode of dropping the standards and starting to take on the crap roles, to be blunt. So it's having that confidence, yeah, to turn it away, and it did work. Um, yeah, it's quite crazy because some of our best months over the years before, yeah, they were good months, but bloody hell, we were seriously pedaling away in the background and working every hour possible. Whereas, the record month now and the strong months, it's completely different.
Mm. And in what
In a good
way? Yeah,
Yeah, we're working less roles for a much
right.
higher margin with clients that are actually really bought into the process. Rather than clients that are just messing you around for low fees, and then, you've got potential rebate problems because of the quality of the client that you're working with.
Yeah,
Because don't get me wrong, we're dealing with people, so things can always go wrong, but we're dealing with much higher level roles. Um, so yeah, we feel like we're doing less work for more return.
great. Brilliant. I mean, well done. Do you have a tactic to how you coach clients to become those better clients?
Yeah, I think it's tricky because it's educating clients, without offending them, and sometimes, at the end of the day, they don't work in recruitment. They're not recruitment experts. They have a million other things to do in their job. So I would always just approach it just in an honest way and try and highlight with, we had one like a few weeks ago where the process just took far too long and they lost candidates because of it. So it's just highlighting and showing them exactly what a really slick process looks like and what it should have been. Um, we obviously discussed that on the briefing call to begin with the client,
Right.
but sometimes, things will happen and they go in, do their own thing. So yeah, it's just working with them to try and give them that information. And when you can give them tangible information as well, to show them, look, some other clients are literally completing the process within 4 days, some even less. It just highlights what can be done for them if
Mm.
they want to
So
secure the best people.
great. So using your experience and expertise with others, and in the same way as you were saying with the team, it's almost the
Yeah.
same with the clients, isn't it? Take the data to them, show them the evidence,
Yeah.
yeah, and show
And
them what's
it,
possible.
it it comes down as well to the confidence side, which like I mentioned before was lacking from myself last year. But we've done some really good work. So I've tried to get case studies off the back of the
Great.
work that we've been doing to obviously try and win more of that same type of business. So then putting that case study in front of the client and getting them to trust you to say, yeah, I can get you the same caliber of person, but you need to trust us. This is how we need to do it. Is
Yeah.
definitely key.
And that's so interesting. I hear you say that, Sean, here's how we need to do it, because a lot of recruiters do lack the confidence of saying that to a client, don't they? Being direct about, look, here's why we need to do it in this way. It's not because I have a set
Yeah,
structure, it's because the structure works and it's going to give you X, Y, and Z. It's going to give you this outcome that you want, Mr. Client.
yeah, yeah,
It's always about
definitely.
frame, isn't it? Framing it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And outside of business, how has this transformation shown up in your personal life?
Yeah, I mean, just being able to be in the moment more. I'll be blatantly honest on that one. I've got three young kids under five, so life's pretty hectic, as it is for a lot of people. So I was finding myself before when I was, really, really stressed. I could be on a day out with the kids or anything, and all I can think about is, well, it was just anxiety of worrying about the business. Whereas, when you're in a much better place, I can actually just enjoy myself because it's difficult when when you
Mm.
own your own business, you never really switch off, or maybe some people can, I don't know. There's a lot of business owners I speak to, yeah, they do struggle to switch off. So I think, yeah, being in the moment is a massive thing for me, and having less financial pressure,
Mm.
uh, because obviously we're getting better results. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's had a massive impact. And yeah, I've been renovating a house as well on the side for the last 10 months. So we just moved in a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, life has been pretty hectic, but it's also
Yeah.
proven to me that if I can do all that, and obviously turn the business around as well, moving forward, it just gives me a lot more confidence to take on anything that's put in front of me, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Growth doesn't mean life stopping. You're still on full charge, if not, steaming further ahead. So, and that's always an interesting one, isn't it? Because I hear a lot of people sort of get themselves caught in that loop. And I know it's the monkey in the mind that's saying, well, I haven't got enough time for that, or I can't fit that in, or, I've got too much on my plate. But I guess it goes back to what you were saying right at the beginning, which is, you're in that busy mode, but actually
Yeah.
that's stunting the growth, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think with the Rocket program, I was completely cards in to everything. Because even like the outbound messaging on LinkedIn, I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to work because I get so many messages every day, sales messages. I just thought that I can't see, we even wrote the message and I was thinking to myself, that isn't going to work. But the responses you get, yeah, it was a massive surprise to me. So it just shows throughout the program to just trust it, even when there's a few areas that I was skeptical about, and I was like, no, I'm just going to do it. And yeah, it's definitely the best thing that I could have done, really.
Good for you. It's a JFDI.
Yeah,
And as you say, trusting the process as well. So you mentioned something really important, and you said, the role for you with the confidence in particular, and also, taking the right course of action, that coaching support played a really important role for you,
yeah.
support and invaluable advice. Um, what What's made the difference there for you? What else is it about having that person there that you find invaluable?
It's having someone because before, I'm a sole business owner.
Yeah.
I don't know, bore my wife every day with the business, so you don't really have anyone to talk to. And then you go on LinkedIn, and everyone's going to promote how good the businesses are, so you're not going to put about your problems on there. So to have an open relationship with the coach is invaluable for me
Mm,
anyway. And the good thing is, I'm sure all the coaches will be the same. I've come across you and Nikki before, but on my experience with Jane this time, she'll tell you how it is, which is exactly how I like it. Um, she holds you to account, and yeah, to have that person to bounce ideas off and discuss things, and to also keep you on track.
yeah.
Yeah, it is really really powerful.
Yeah, definitely. The sense of being understood, and as you're saying, being kept on track, being supported, and having access to the answers that you need at any point
Yeah,
in time is a lifeline, isn't it, when you're running a business by yourself? Okay, so I've got a couple of quick fire questions, if I may, Sean, that I wanted to
yeah,
ask
go
you.
for it.
So, what advice would you give yourself like 6 months ago? Yeah, what advice would you have given yourself then?
Prior to the program, yeah, I mean I've said it before, but trust the process because
Mm,
yeah, I think before coming on it, yeah, I decided I was gonna go for it and get stuck in, but um, yeah, you have just got to roll with every bit of it because if you miss certain bits out, then it's not going to work. Um,
yeah,
yeah, so just let go of the things that aren't working for you.
fabulous. Thank you. And what's something you used to think mattered, but now maybe it doesn't?
The number of roles. I used to be obsessed with the number of jobs we're getting in every week.
Mm-mm.
So I used to KPI on that, and yeah, it really doesn't matter anymore because we literally halved our ratio. Was we're working half the jobs but making a lot more money. So yeah, it's all about the quality of the jobs.
Excellent. And what is the biggest belief that you would say you've let go of?
Um, biggest belief,
Perhaps a belief you had before that you thought
maybe
was true.
maybe failure.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I think I'd got into such a negative mindset, and I was so anxious that I was constantly worrying about failing instead of, I know I've mentioned it before, but thinking how good it could get. And it was pretty strange actually because the first coaching call that I had, I found when I came to the face-to-face course with you guys, I think it was in 2017,
yeah.
you gave out some coasters, and I swear to God, this coaster had been in a box and I hadn't seen it for years. And on the day I unpacked this box because we were moving things around in the office, and the coaster said, "How good can it get?" So it was one from you guys, and yeah, it just proves, sometimes trust in the universe, um,
Yeah.
and yeah, just focusing on yeah the potential of things rather than the potential failure.
And yeah, I mean, thank you for being so open today because I think all of us can resonate and lean into the things that you've shared with us because your story really is proof. The right mindset, the right systems, you can turn things around. You could do it fast. I mean, your results are incredible. So, for our listeners, if you are listening to Sean's story and it's really hit home for you, then please, share like this episode. Don't be afraid to reach out if you want any help to shift yourself from that burnout to breakthrough, like Sean has. Then, yeah, reach out to us. We are here to help. Sean, thank you so much Really, really appreciate it. And we're wishing you all the very best. And
Yeah, thanks
until
for all
next,
the support.
oh, thank you. Until next time, guys, keep rising, keep refining, yeah, keep rocketing. And we will see you again on the next episode. Take care.